There is no doubt that Mazin Nando has opened the eyes of Nigerians. You know, that some people are very angry with him. And Nando way is not that ordinarily he's just managing. He's doing it with passion. He has a passionate, you know, he sees the future. He knows where these people are going. So some people feel that he has annoyed them and he's blocking their way, so that they need to act fast. But it is late. Now it is late that many people are aware of the agenda. Ab initio, people were not so sure what is happening. But now, you know, when they say time shall tell, this is the time that is telling. People are seeing it, they play, they show, based on what Kanu has said before, shortly, probably a decade ago, 10 years ago. It is now coming out to show itself in the face of the earth. Everybody is seeing it. So I'm going to show you. I believe that this clip is one of the reasons why, you know, they caged Nnamdi Kanu, to avoid, probably they assume that if they cage him, he's going to avoid further problems. But the damage has been done already. The damage to the agenda has been done already. And many people are now awake to see what is coming to Nigeria.
Your useless zoo cannot be great because it is a zoological republic, a place filled with animals everywhere. 8 judges confirmed, none from your zone. And you come out and you're saying you believe in one Nigeria. Can you believe such nonsense? Are you telling me that those are appointed, that they do better? These are Sharia judges. Sharia judges. Sharia judges. But some of you are dumb. Some of you are foolish. Some of you are idiotic. That idiocy is what I want to gouge out from the brain of a black man. A black African man is foolish. The reason why I speak the way I do, I want to surgically remove that part of a black man's brain that is filled with idiocy and stupidity. People who cannot reason. You are in Abuja, campaigning for one Nigeria, one Nigeria. No single position. Academically, you are the best of the best. And now, everywhere is Abogi. They have filled every position. And you will come back, and they will give you $200,000, and you come back and one Nigeria. You want to be in one Nigeria. I'm telling you, you people don't know how angry we are. How many did you kill at Mpo? How many did you kill at Onitsha? How many died at Mbiama? How many did you kill during Trump rally in Igbocha? How many were killed in Enugu? How many did you kill in my house? Has it stopped us? Do you see how foolish you people are? You don't know that the more you kill us, the more hardened we become. You don't understand. It is simple logic. If ordinary Boko Haram that did not go to school can be giving you problems in your own territory in the north, imagine people like us who are educated in IPOB. Do you think it can last with us? I'm asking you. Oh dear me. Lord, have mercy upon your wretched black souls. Have mercy on you. And now I want you to understand something. As a result of the work, you know, when we started, people, oh, you people, every day you broadcast, every day you're talking, you're ranting. But BBC has been in existence since 1929. This idiots work for BBC. BBC Igbo. The most useless bunch of idiots I've ever seen in my life. BBC Igbo. They work for BBC Igbo. People interviewing sex traffickers, criminals, hardened drug dealers. BBC Igbo. These are the fools. These are the fools talking about one Nigeria. Every time you've been broadcast, but it's in BBC Igbo. He's telling Nnamdi Kanu, you've been broadcasting now for 4 years. What have you achieved? The BBC has been broadcasting since 1929. CNN has been there. Nobody, no stupid black man can go and say to CNN, why are you still broadcasting? Why don't you stop? I want people to appreciate how foolish the brain of a black man actually works. Especially baby Sabotua, Sabonti, Kefulefu, and those suffering from Iberiberism. They are foolish. They don't reason very well. As a result of this thing you don't want us to do, all of a sudden, everybody has now woken up. And according to Guardian newspaper in the Zoo Guardian newspaper, not the proper one in England, puzzle over Nigeria's unity as North Central rediscovers its identity. And which people made it possible? IPOB Radio Biafra. You can see Oduduwa agitation today. Which people made it possible? Because they have looked at us. Year after year, we are on it. We don't change. That is why they now have the courage for Oduduwa to come out, and we welcome it. Now that the Middle Belt have discovered their identity, we welcome it. That is the work that Radio Biafra has done. But because you people are black, you cannot quantify. Now ask yourself this question. Why is it that BBC is in, I don't know, maybe up to 60 languages around the world? Why? Because they want to impart, they want to control your mind. They want you to become anglicized. Our mission here is to impart knowledge, to make people to think critically. Not because we hate you. When I call you a zoo animal, it is for you to go back and ask yourself, why is Nnamdi Kanu calling me an animal? If you think about it, I'm telling you, before morning, you will come to the conclusion that I've actually done you a favor. We have done you a favor. Because now you can reason properly. Can't you see Middle Belt? Did they have the courage to rise up before? Now everybody's rising up. Down to this same IPOB, you know, miscreants. Those miscreants. Have you seen what they have done to the zoo? People are now waking up and asking questions. What gave them the courage and the impetus to do so? It is Radio Biafra and IPOB. Nobody else. No other entity. Nobody. And of course, I will say the grace of the Most High in heaven. In heaven. People call them talking rubbish every blessed day. And you look at them and you laugh. You are coming against the most formidable, the most consistent, the most focused, the most fanatical freedom fighting movement on the face of the earth. The most fanatical. The only thing is that we have not picked up guns yet. In a big way. But it's coming. You know, of course, everybody knows it's coming. Fulani will provoke us. And I love what happened. I wouldn't say that I love what happened in Enugu, but I like the consequences of what happened in Enugu. Now they understand. Anything we do now, nobody can blame us for anything because we're on our own and they came to kill us. And I won't tell you what Modo said about what happened in Enugu. People say, come to, oh, but leave Modo, leave them, let us, rubbish. Evil man, evil to the core. Evil man. With his evil entourage. Very soon. That Nigeria is more divided today. This is according to Guardian newspaper. Listen carefully to tell you how far we have gone. The work that IPOB has done. When that Ingila, that prophet was telling them, negotiate now. No, what to say to Osibanjo, leave Nnamdi Kanu. They are our children. I am 53 years old. He is not older than me by more than 11 years. He said, I'm his child. Hey, Chineke, hey, he said, these are our children, our children. These are people that my son is older than. They call us youths. They say they are youths. I look at them and I laugh. All these people serving Fulani interests, listen carefully to this. That Nigeria is more divided today than ever before is no longer news. Now Nigeria is divided. This is according to a conservative newspaper, Guardian. It is already manifesting with the North Central geopolitical zone that appears set to break away and seek self-actualization from the core north. People are now waking up. And that was our mission from day one. To educate the uneducatable. To educate the lazy morons in the zoo. For you, what we've been doing all these years is trying, you know, like when you want to jumpstart a car and maybe the battery is flat or the kickstarter, the kick motor is not working and you keep trying until you get that engine to start. That's what we have done. All we've been doing all these years without anybody knowing is to get your brain to start thinking, to get your brain to start asking critical and searching questions. Those questions, Facebook don't want you to ask them. because they're working for the zoo. They understand, as they said before, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. What we want you to do is to open that book and read that page. Read it. The zoo was created by a white man. No black man created Nigeria. Nigeria is a British racist construct. Anybody supporting Nigeria, that person is mentally in fact, the person is more than insane. More than insane. And over the years, before they said we are mad, they don't know what they're doing. But over the years now, they have come to accept that what we are saying is actually correct. Now Middle Belt is rising up and saying enough is enough. Because now they know in the Middle Belt, if you're part of Nigeria, Fulani will come and kill you. The only reason why Fulani are in Ebonyi killing people with the help of Dave Umahi, the only reason why that administrator of Imo State, who opposed on him, wants to allow Fulani to start killing us because we are in one Nigeria. Now imagine that we have Biafra. Do you think Fulani will come and kill us in Ebonyi State? It's a very simple question. Do you think that if you had the Kwara Republic in the Middle Belt, that Fulani will come from Mali, from Niger to come and kill somebody in Agatu, of course, is Biafra. They will come into Birom in Plateau and kill. Do you think that Fulani will have the courage to go to Plateau State and give themselves local government chairman in all those areas? Do you think so? If you're in your own country? Now, as America is, do you think that Britain can go to America now and impose a duke or a marquis or a lord? But had America remained under British colonial rule, they would have had the right to do that. This is something that we want people to understand. Not that we hate anybody or we despise anybody. We just want you. It's just simple common sense. Ask yourself, why are the killings going on in the zoo? Why? Why are people dying in Nigeria? It's because you're in Nigeria. If Fulani had their own area, houses on their own, who will come to kill each other and take over their farmland? That is why they want to smuggle these things through the legislature. Because you're in Nigeria. They can legislate to give your waterways, your rivers and your streams to Fulani people because you're in Nigeria. Because the Parliament of Nigeria have actually taken a decision to allow the waterways to be controlled by Miyetti Allah. But if there is no Nigeria, such nonsense cannot happen. Now, I don't know why people find it difficult to understand something so simple. And as I keep saying, any day that I pass on, the first thing I'll ask God, because of course I'm going to heaven, the first thing I'll ask God is, when you were creating the brain of a black man, what actually happened? I'm telling you the truth. I will ask God Almighty, when you were creating black people and you got to their brain, what did you take away or what did you put there that predisposes them to such unimaginable levels of idiocy? You are in Nigeria and you're dying. Fulani are killing you. You're dying every day. The same Fulani are in Asorok. The same Fulani control the legislature. The same Fulani control the judiciary. The same Fulani are enacting laws to take your land away from you and give to the people. And you wake up in the morning and you say, one Nigeria. May God have mercy on yours. I have never seen such levels of idiocy in my life. I have never. And may I never ever. I'm waiting for them to unleash that demon tomorrow with a mask. Address. I will finish them tomorrow. Tomorrow I will finish them. Let them bring out that idiot tomorrow. I don't care the level of deep fake they have used. I don't care the level of technology they have employed. I do not give a damn. Tomorrow we are IPOB, the most formidable, the most credible, the most consistent, the most fanatical, the most insane freedom fighting outfit in the whole world. Tomorrow bring out that I give you on, as the idiot is mouthing the usual rubbish that he mouths, I give you only 5 minutes. I will tell you where it was recorded. I will tell you, all they do is they mime. They play a voice and you see him miming. That is, miming means you be moving your mouth to simulate the words that is being read out. It doesn't mean it is you. That is why he couldn't address the UN live.
Now you have seen one of the reasons why they are caging that man. But let me tell you, I keep saying this thing that weeping may endure for a night, but sunshine cometh early in the morning. These things are just temporal, especially in this case of Nigeria, when the bubble has busted. it's not going to work the way that some people thought it will work, because now the international bodies are involved, and they want to help, truly help Nigeria to solve this problem. So whether they hold Nnamdi Kanu or they no hold him, but the good news is that Kanu will definitely come out. He is coming out. From the look of things, from what is happening, Kanu is coming out, and there will be a lasting solution to this problem in Nigeria. That I am very, very sure of it. And it don't they play small. With the time by the time it will blow, everybody will see it.
We will surely come out as a nation because we are fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
The leader of the Biafran people is His Excellency Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Ojukwu.
In those hot days, the quickest and the only thing we could do was to found a place where our fleeing compatriots could at least find an end to their flight. This is what Biafra is, the end of the journey for a persecuted, massacred, pursued people.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing great today. Okay, so it's becoming abundantly clear now that we are faced with a Biafra war-like situation in a different shape. To help you understand, during the Biafran war, a lot of mercenaries from predominantly Muslim countries in Africa, Chad and the rest of them, were brought into Nigeria, radical Islamists, to kill our people, Igbos, Christians in the East, right? They fought alongside the Nigerian military at that time. And these are all documented. In fact, there's one video account, very difficult thing to watch, on the Asaba massacre, where a brother who was an eyewitness was basically narrating how that one of those Chadian soldiers who was dressed in Nigerian military uniform was making an announcement before they massacred all those maybe 7,000 or so of our boys. He made an announcement and said something like, if you be Igbo, you must die. If you be Igbo, you must die. So they were given a marching order that just look out for the Igbos and kill them off. You heard all that story of how our people even came out in Asaba to welcome them, and thinking that, okay, we've been able to appease these guys. We don't want to have anything to do with Biafra. We are all for the Nigerian nation. And even after that, they massacred all of them. The guy is still alive today. He made it clear. He was an eyewitness. He saw dead bodies all around him. He only escaped by the grace of God. And he made it clear that most of the people who shot and killed on that day were mercenaries. How do you explain that several decades later, we have a situation where so-called repentant terrorists are being churned out from the killing fields into our already depressed and bleeding streets? And they are being told they could join the military, and not just that they are told, many of them have already gone into the military, as alleged by active duty Nigerian soldiers, which they have also put out on video for the whole world to see. That you have terrorists who are still terrorists. There is no element of repentance in them. They are in the military. They are joining the police force. They are joining everywhere. Anything, any aspect of life in Nigeria is open to them. Meanwhile, they are not Nigerians. I will never stop hammering on this. But the point you need to pay attention to right now is when these guys are now asked to go into the military, do you think that the military will send them to go and fight in Borno, where they were taken from in the first place, and called repentant and given automatic citizenship? Do you think they will be sent to go there to go and fight against themselves? No. Most likely these guys are being sent to eastern Nigeria. And so the killings that they couldn't achieve, the genocide that they couldn't complete during the Biafran war, this might be the best opportunity they have now to complete it. Their children are now wearing Nigerian military uniforms again. And this time around, legally. Legally. And when they enter there, our people are looking at people in our military uniform and they're wondering, who are these? They may actually be staring their own enemies in the face. Now, explain to me, how does anyone know who is a repentant terrorist when you see a Nigerian soldier? And so the systematic killing of my people may just get on the way, low-key, eliminating our people. Doesn't that also kind of explain why in the last few weeks and months we have seen so many framings, so many made-up stories just to tie the eastern part of Nigeria to terrorism? We've seen it from the military, it was debunked. Another one came again, it was debunked. And now we have the police involved. Who are these people eagerly working so hard to tie eastern Nigeria to terrorism? And you know why they're doing that? Because they want to have a large-scale deployment to the east. In the same way there is focus on the northeast, they want to create a plausible cause. They want to create a reason that everybody will agree to. That, hey, we found IED. It was debunked. Oh, we found this. It was debunked. Imagine if they were not debunked. Imagine if our boys and girls who are now actively warring against these wicked people on social media today, imagine if they were not there. They would have gotten away with all of this. And then they will suddenly have a national decree that now there's a problem in eastern Nigeria, we need to deploy. And now when you see the people they are going to be deploying, probably 85 to 90% of them are the same enemies who sought to eliminate all of us during the Biafran war. Their children are now legally wearing uniform and are being sent now to finish what their fathers couldn't finish. You see why Nigeria cannot live for a very long time. Nigeria will not survive this period. I am telling you with everything in me. Nobody born of a woman, nobody born of a woman, even if you are not born of you, even if it's a spirit that gave birth to you, you can never, ever conquer eastern Nigeria. Alibo, you can never conquer my people. You will never be able to Islamize my people. Take it from me that I said so. It won't happen. So you better stop trying. There's no need. You hear the story of Igala, the attack of Igala. They wanted him to convert. He committed suicide rather than bow to the Islamic regime. You hear the story of Igbo landing. They wanted to take them as slaves. Our people say never, not on our lives. We'll rather drown than bow or submit ourselves or surrender to slavery. You heard about Aba women riot. And you think that these people are normal people. Bring it on. Bring it on. You know, Nigeria is so doomed and cursed that they don't know when they have when they have bitten more than they can chew. They don't know when they have pushed their enemy, or rather their opponent, to the wall. We have backed up to the wall now. And the time is coming when Nigeria will hear from us. Keep pushing us. Keep trying. But go to bed knowing fully well that I said to you today, you will never, even in 1,000 lifetimes, you will never be able to conquer Eastern Nigeria. You can never conquer Igbo people, let alone Islamize them. May God bless you and keep you. And if you are an Igbo person or from Eastern Nigeria, you better wake up. You better wake up. The hour has come. Vigilante, whatever it is we can do, even on an individual basis, let everybody rise up now. We need to defend our homeland because God bless you.
Fulani can control you however they like. Once they announce it, Yoruba newspapers very foolishly and stupidly will support them because they want Tinubu as the president. And you are all dying every blessed day. You are all dying every day. Had you people risen up to say that what is happening in Nigeria is bad, there is no way that Fashoranti's daughter will not be alive today. That is the price you pay for duplicity. That is the price you pay for treachery. That is the price you will continue to pay until you rise up and say enough is enough. It is up to you to do it. You did it during NSAS. You can do it again. Can you imagine Fulani people telling you, if you remove Fulanis from Yoruba forest, imagine Fulani telling you, if you remove them from your ancestral lands, there will be war, and you are panicking. And you have not asked yourself, why are they not saying something about the East? Why did they not say to Eastern Security Network? Why did they not say to me, if you don't stop evacuating Fulani terrorists from the forest, there will be war? Because they know, they understand psychologically that you don't have what it takes to resist them. Do you know why Borno State is still alive? Why you still have the Kanu people in Borno today? Was because they resisted the Fulani centuries ago. You have to go back to history to understand how Nigeria came into existence. Fulani has been expanding from day one, from Senegambia. All the way from Senegambia, they've been expanding, and now they are in Okigwe. All the way from Senegambia, they are now in Okigwe. And you're asking us to somehow fold our hands and keep quiet because of 2023, because one idiot is going to come out to become a president. Because of that rubbish, because of that nonsensical notion, we should fold our hands and wait until we are overrun by the Janjaweed from the Sahel. Is that how reasonable people think? Is that how people that wish to survive as a race, is that how they reason? It is very, very shocking that some of you do not understand what the Fulanis have in store for you. Very, very soon it is going to happen. And when it happens, your eyes will clear. And about whom you will see it very clearly. I was warning you. In 2014, 2015, 2016, they said he's a warmonger. He's a warmongering. I went to America and I told World Igbo Congress that this war you are avoiding is going to come to your villages. They said, no, it's not going to happen. What is happening today? When Yoruba was supporting the dead idiot called Buhari, did I not warn them that this evil you're supporting will consume you? They never listened. They never wanted to listen. IPOB is a terrorist group. You're trying to divide Nigeria. But Mietiana is not. People that you are calling bandits, have you heard anybody come out to say, please Buhari, since presidency is there defending terrorists in the forest, why don't you proscribe them? No, you cannot proscribe a Fulani group. Never. And all of you, we are supporting evil. When there is the proscribed IPOB, proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. These are Yoruba journalists writing junk. Every day they keep writing rubbish. But their land is under siege. Their land is under siege. And the Fulani will take it. It doesn't take time. So I am here today to encourage them that they must stand tall and be very strong, resolute. That is what Fulani does. They control the media. They have well-paid consultants all over the world doing their bidding for them. They have that woman at UN
trying to lobby the world that everything is okay in the zoo called Nigeria. But you and I know that the zoo is not okay. You and I know the game plan of the Fulani. And what are you doing about it? Nothing. Every day you read, you lament, you complain. Every day you read, you lament. And that's all you do. That is all you do. You read, you lament, you complain, you do nothing about it. Your lives are being taken away from you. Your forests are being occupied. Your mothers are being raped. Your daughters are being abducted. And the whole national government, presidency, is supporting such people. And you're telling me that Nigeria is viably sustainable. Is that what you're telling me? That somehow this contraption is sustainable, it is viable. It can never be. Because the more you stay in one Nigeria, the more you are inviting the Fulanis to take over your ancestral lands, take over your villages, and to make life a misery for you. That is the end game. That is the outcome. If you doubt me, go and do a bit of research. Ask yourself, who are the Hausa people? Who are the Nupe people? Who are the Bachama people? All of these people were steamrolled by the Fulani march to the Atlantic Ocean. And now they're in Yoruba land. They're in their forests. They are in their forests. And who is going to drive them away from there? If not the Yoruba youths. Forget about your useless governors. Your elders are very strong. I love Yoruba elders. The way they behave, the way they talk. Very, very strong. They said they support Akeredolu. There's the governor of Ondo State. They support him in what he's doing. People must come out to say that enough is enough. When you travel to the north, do you live in the forest in the north? The Igbo people are in Sabongeri in Kanu. Are they living of course it's Hausa land? Are they living in the forest? They came to the town. They work very hard. They build houses. They build mansions. They develop the entire place. Is that not what they do? What are Fulani people doing in our forest? Nobody can answer that question. They say that they're pastoralists. I want some of you who have had your breakfast this morning. Please go to your fridge or go to where you keep your beverages and you will see pig milk. Pig. Some of us were raised on pig milk. For how many years now? And you keep asking yourself, what is pig milk? Pig milk is mineral. The same milk that the cows produce in Holland can be produced in the zoo. Tell me the country in the world aspiring to be a member of the UN Security Council where you move cattle from place to place. Are you people well at all? You so-called Nigerians, are you normal in the brain? I'm asking you a simple question. Show me a country that aspires to be in the 21st century moving cattle from place to place, telling me they're grazing. Which country is that? Please tell me. All of you don't have any shame. When you have people, an entire presidency coming out to defend a very primitive, archaic agricultural practice, then you know you embrace serious mess. You are in one almighty trouble, I'm telling you. People are in a mess. The Holland that you get your pig milk from, do they move cattle from Rotterdam to Amsterdam? I'm asking you a simple question. But they produce the pig milk that you're drinking every blessed day. Why can't Fulani produce pig milk in Sokoto? Why can't they produce carnation milk in Kanu? They have the cattle. Before the white man came, did you see any Fulani in your forest? All these people talking rubbish about movement of cattle and movement of... I'm asking you, before Britain came and handed over Nigeria to Fulani, ask your grandfathers, please, or your grandmothers. Ask them. All this nonsense we are hearing today in this so-called one, I want to tell you the dangers of one Nigeria. All this nonsense you're hearing today about one Nigeria, Fulani in our forest, Fulani in our village. Before the white man came, did you see Fulani moving their cattle all over the place? Did we not have meat to eat? They will answer these questions for you. Because sometimes in Africa we don't reason very well. The way we reason is disjointed. It is disjointed. I can't understand for the life of me why instead of them to waste all that money arming and equipping this Janjaweed army Mihetiala to come and conquer you and I, why don't they open a milk factory somewhere in the north and bring the milk down south? I'm sure southerners will buy it. After all, pig milk comes all the way from Holland. Pig milk all the way from Holland. Now you understand it. Because of the way you people reason. Why can't you produce? Is it difficult to produce milk? The same milk that comes out naturally from the udder of the cow. Why can't you can it somewhere, pasteurize it, and send it to people to eat, to drink, or to do whatever with? All over the world, that is what is happening. In fact, they produce so much milk in Europe that they pour it away. Why can't you do the same thing? A whole president claiming they are in the 21st century are supporting a very primitive practice of moving cattle from place to place. All of you, you're not ashamed of yourselves. You have no shame. As somebody will say, your shame is shaming me. I'm telling you, you people from the zoo, I'm ashamed of your ignorance and stupidity. You people are hopeless, completely hopeless. One day now, one idiot to come and say, we are intellectuals. And you're moving cattle from Kafanchan to Ahoda. You are intellectuals. You are intellectualizing. You are in the 21st century, you are moving cattle, driving cattle, Nama, from over 300 miles. Claiming Yoruba forest is a place for you to be in. You want to relax, Yoruba forest is every Nigerian is free to live anywhere. And do their business anywhere, yes. But when an Igbo man tries to sell beer in Kanu, you destroy it. You destroy their businesses, you destroy their hotels, but you can come down to the south and live anywhere you like and grace anywhere you like. And you're telling me that is a country, that is one Nigeria for you? The Fulanis we are talking, they call them the Funa movement. Our attention has been drawn to a decree credited to one Rotimi Akeredolu, asking Fulani people who have occupied some forests in Nando state to quit. We are also aware of another incident in Oyo state where an illiterate political talk gave quit notice to Fulani people to leave their territories, which are now their irreversible homes. Are you listening? Fulani are now saying that Yoruba forest is now their irreversible homes. They have now occupied Yoruba land in perpetuity. And I want to let my Yoruba friends understand this. You see, in life, anytime you support evil, evil will come back to haunt you. All of you never knew that IPOB and this Biafra movement was for your liberation. Some of you saw maybe the oil and gas from Biafra land. If they go now, we'll have access to oil and gas. In the process of having your eyes fixated on oil and gas, your forest is gone. Do you understand it? There is nothing more precious in life than freedom. Freedom is very important. And I need you to understand this very morning. Every Yoruba person supporting Fulani, you are setting up yourself to become like the Hausa people. Remember when Hausa was supporting Fulani? We are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Where are the Hausa people today? I ask you. Where are those Hausa people today? Do you see them anymore? They're saying we are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Do you see them again today? Do you see them? I'm asking you. No, because Fulani have completely overwhelmed them. It's called emasculation. Completely emasculated them. Look at what they're doing in the East. In the East, they come to the East, they will tell you, oh, you want to be the president or vice? Yeah. They say, give us land for Ruga. They give them land. As soldiers of Kabi did that Lord Banta. They have taken it over in forever and ever. Give us land in your state. Hope most of them are proof to us that you are stood. Give us land in Olo. Hope most of them will give them land in Olo. We can go and kill people in Obibo. We can kill for them. How many Fulani governors are prepared to kill bandits? I didn't say normal people. I'm talking about armed, dangerous bandits. How many Fulani governors? Go and read your newspapers, you will see it there. Fulani governors are negotiating with them, giving them arms, giving them vehicles, making sure that their life is no longer a misery. But they come down to the south, they tell you, give us land for Ruga. Go and kill your people to prove to us that you're one Nigerian. That was why Obi also was talking rubbish. Was yesterday or 2 days ago. Supported by the BBC. The problem you people have in Nigeria is this. Your journalists, you see people, Punch newspaper, Tribune, Vanguard, and Nation, they are your second worst enemies. I'm telling you the truth. They can never ever be objective in their reportage. Never ever. That's why all of you are suffering. But you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest. Of course, some of you went about looking for Indomie in warehouses. Typical black people. Any revolution that is coming now, you must stand very firm. They'll say, oh, you're Igbo. Oh, you're Yoruba. Oh, you are from Urobo. Don't join them. It's our turn in 2023. If you do this, you will scuttle our chances of becoming the president.
Yes, I came across a video that the person was saying that Abakaliki Ebonyi people are not Igbos, that the men Igbos are treating them badly, that I was laughing. Though that clip, I know, is not the person there on the video that is saying that. Another person, probably from Anioma Delta State, I assume he's the person saying these things, because he was saying that what is it called, that Ebonyi people are not being treated. Who told you that? Who is treating Ebonyi people unjustly? Does Ebonyi people have are they under any state in the southeast? No, they are not. Ebonyi state is under the federal government. Ebonyi is not under any southeast state. Then talking about relationship, in what way? This is just normal banters, normal, jackery that people usually talk to each other. You can be addressed by the way you behave. You may behave somehow. It's very common in Igbo land. They will yab you. It is normal yabbing that we do to see probably if you change. That is the normal thing we do. And I believe it's everywhere. People will yab you if Igbos know they take all this nonsense thing. Once you misbehave, they will yab you. If you are constantly misbehaving, they will be constantly yabbing you. Is it not the yabbing that made the Omahi to, improve in Abakaliki now? If you go there now, you see, at least you can see some structures, road being built in Abakaliki. So yabbing is nothing. Somebody trying to campaign with the yabbings that other, probably Anambra or other Igbo-speaking states yab Ebonyi. It's not only Ebonyi that is being yabbed. Anybody can yab anybody. But you are being yabbed based on what you are doing. You see? So if not that one, make they not carry that their yeye campaign go that side. Because we never begged Anioma people to come and join Southeast. It is Anioma people, same Anioma people that say they want to join Southeast. Southeast is okay with what we have. We are very okay. We have the highest oil deposit. We have a gas deposit in the whole world or in Africa. It's there in Southeast, present Southeast. Is it oil that we don't have? We have it. In fact, if possible, I'm even of the opinion that let Southeast be on their own. But I know that video is just to, provoke people, but we are above that. Whatever decision that other Igbo-speaking areas want to decide, that one and then Sabi, it's not going to affect anything that Southeast is doing. Not at all. Southeast alone is bigger than some countries in the world, ×2 of some countries. So it's not an issue at all. It's not an issue. But I'm very, very sure that the person that did this thing is doing it to, bring hatred and every other thing. Well, I wish you well, and I wish you anybody that wants to, belong wherever he wants to belong, but time shall tell. Time shall tell what happens later. Because you see what is happening in Kwara State and, coming down to Lagos State. That is the fate of so many of us if nothing is being done very, very soon. Because the Islamization that is going on, because obviously that is what it is. These guys think ahead. They are ready to die. They are ready to take risk for future achievement. That is how they brainwash themselves. It's not like we in the Southeast that we work hard for today. We forget, sometimes we forget tomorrow and we work hard for today. But Nnamdi Kanu is trying to let us know this is what is happening. You better plan towards it. But some of our politicians don't understand this thing. They want their immediate gain, of which these people that they are dealing with, they understand, they know where they are heading to in future. So they can easily capture you, with whatever you want individually for them to achieve what they want in the future. But that is what Kanu has read and understand the situation and say, no, this will not continue to happen and not under my watch. And some of them feel provocated and, they are after him. However, let's watch this boy.
I don't know who need to hear this, but I want to say this now. Let everybody hear it. Abakaleke people, we know the Igbo. Thank you. Hold your Igbo. There's nothing special about that Igbo. You people always find one way or the other to come and shade Ebonyi people at this about the outside of it. But you are going to drag people from Benin City claiming they are Igbos. But the ones that speak the same language with you, that are even the indigenous Igbo people, you say they are not Igbo. Listen to me, we are not Igbo. And we will never be Igbo. We are the Abakaleke people. Yes. In the Abakaleke, we have Iju, we have Eza, we have our people, we have different language in Abakaleke, but we understand that we are one. But it is you people, and I'm brandy in Dimu. You people are the one always, they are not Igbo, they are not Igbo, they are what is special about Igbo? This one no be Igbo, no be that stupid tribe. What be say if anybody talk anyhow, they carry and go put for prison. Nobody go feel ask them anything. I be again another tribe again. Where be Igbo? What is special about Igbo? Igbo no be this tribe where no get mad for their own country. Igbo no be that tribe where we say they claim say they get, but they never ever give them any chance of leadership in country. What is special about the Igbo? Where we say on anytime when I hear Abakaleke people, they say they are not Igbo. They are Abakaleke. What is good about the Igbo? We are not Igbo. Hold your Igbo. Ogu kill your Igbo.
Now. You have heard that man. You have heard it from the horse's mouth. These are the same Igbo people that want Enwane, Eka, Okwane to be Igbo. These are the same Igbo people that want the so-called River State Igbo, the so-called Benue State Igbo, the so-called Kogi State Igbo to be Igbo. If you are mistreating a Bonyima who is already Igbo, who is already wearing Igbo cap, if you are mistreating him, how are you going to treat an Okwane man? How are you going to treat an Eka man? How are you going to treat an Enwane man? How are you going to treat the so-called Igbo from Benue State, from Kogi State, from River State? That is the question. These are the same Igbo people that want the whole of South to be Biafra. If you can mistreat an Abakaliki man, how are you going to treat a Benin man, Urobo man, Isoko man, Isekiri man, Ijo man, Calabar man in Biafra? That is the question we're asking you. How are you going to treat them? If you are treating your own brother like that, how are you going to treat these people that are not Igbo in Biafra? That's what we continue to tell you. Limit the agitation of Biafra to the 5 states in the southeast. No more, no less. That is it. We know what we are saying. Limit it to your own people. Except you are looking for somebody you are going to marginalize. Except you are looking for somebody you are going to mistreat. Which is not going to be possible. So we are advising you. Leave South out of this. We are not interested. Thank you. Have a great day.
Alright viewers, we are coming to the end of this video, and I want to hear your sincere contribution in what we have seen so far, And please don't forget to like this video, share it so that others can watch. Thanks.